What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Life So Crazy. It's the Vongola boss here. So I was scrolling across the timeline when I came upon this tweet. Hacker has to pay Nintendo 20 to 30% of his salary for the rest of his life after being released from prison. And then I thought,
man, what did he do to make them that mad?
it's well known that Nintendo doesn't play when it comes to copyright and piracy. I mean, Nintendo be handing out claims and strikes like it's Halloween candy. And heaven forbid you mod a game in order to have fun.
Did I just catch you having fun?
Jokes aside, Nintendo is free to police its IPs in any way it sees fit, and at times they are justified, like this situation here with this Nintendo hacker known as Gary Bowser, who was just released from prison after 40 months for running a website by the name of Max Console, a site known for distributing custom Nintendo Switch firmware. Now, I'm a tech guy, but I'm pretty ignorant when it comes to game emulation and homebrew software. I'm a purist when it comes to gaming, to my wallet's dismay. But I understand everybody's not like me and doesn't have an issue with emulating. Add on to how horrible Nintendo is when it comes to game preservation, you can definitely make a case arguing in emulation's favor. I still didn't quite understand why this guy was in so much trouble for emulating and pirating. But after reading about the business practices this guy and his team engaged in addition to the fact they ultimately did this for profit, then the consequences sort of make sense. In 2020, this custom firmware and the Nintendo Switch mod chips got the attention of Nintendo. And not sure how they tracked him down, but they booked him in the Dominican Republic, where he was extradited to the US shortly after his arrest, with the report stating that Gary Bowser willfully participated in a cyber criminal enterprise that hacked leading gaming consoles and that developed, manufactured, marketed, and sold a variety of circumvention devices that allowed the enterprise's customers to play pirated versions of copyrighted games. Bowser was granted an early release from prison and is now headed back to his home country, Canada, but has $14.5 million in damages to his name.
Oh my!
And will have to pay Nintendo back on a monthly basis, sending 25 to 30% of his gross monthly income to Nintendo. Yeah, that's tough. I hope that mod chip website brought in a decent amount of money, because it's not looking good. Now, I'm not sure if they're just saying for the rest of his life, due to the fact that paying back the 14.5 million in damages is something he's unlikely to do. Nintendo knows they're not going to get that 14 million back. They just want to make an example out of this dude. Like, you might as well just serve out the rest of your life in prison. It just seems excessive to me, but as the saying goes,
if you can't do the time, don't do the crime.
This Twitter thread gave a little more context to this dude. I wonder how many people know Gary Bowser, the guy Nintendo had arrested, was part of Team Executor, who are infamous for incredibly scummy business practices with their Switch mod chips. They ripped off a pre-existing free homebrew OS for theirs and hastily slapped DRM onto it. This ended up being so hasty that an oversight in an SXOS update ended up bricking a bunch of consoles. Then there's the fact their paid mod chips actively, officially, and publicly encourage and endorse piracy of games still being currently sold. There's a reason homebrew and emulator devs actively discourage piracy, even if that's a big use case for both anyway. Publicly endorsing it will get them in big trouble, and like Executor or the several ROM sites taken down due to having paid memberships shows why. And I don't want this construed as me trying to bootlick Nintendo because they can do no wrong, because in my opinion they were going way too far with Gary's punishments. But you guys have to look into why Nintendo does some of these things outside of clickbaity articles that lack context. Let's check out what the people had to say about this. This is crazy. Dude has to pay a multi-billion-dollar business 30% of his wages. This title is misleading. He owes 14.5 million and pays monthly installments of what he can afford. If he stumbles on a lucrative venture, he can probably pay it off and move on. Imagine going to sleep knowing you owe somebody 14 million. The answer, what did he hack? He had a little business, and when paid, they helped people hack their Switches and play pirated games. That's all. So I found this other article about this case on Nintendo Life, and it said Nintendo's lawyer previously explained how the company wanted to send a message to other Switch hackers. This is a very significant moment for us. It's the purchase of video games that sustains Nintendo and the Nintendo ecosystem, and it is the games that make the people smile. It's for that reason that we do all we can to prevent games on Nintendo systems from being stolen. You could add getting played too with these eShop closures, but that's none of my business. Closing thoughts, I don't condone pirating, but I understand it. And if you choose to go down that path, do not try and profit off it. Whatever happened to being like Robin Hood? Our boy Bowser here got a little too greedy for some peaches. Now Nintendo's smoking on that Koopa pack. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe if you're new, and drop a comment down below. I want to hear what y'all got to say about this. It's been the Vongola Boss, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.
Damn, like crazy. Damn.